Hello, and welcome to another edition of 360 Half Seconds. My name is Kia with 360 Vet Sales, and today with me is Matt Arena, CEO of 360 Vet Sales. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. So just really quickly before we get started, let me remind everybody how this works. I'm going to give Matt a question. He's got 360 half seconds or 3 minutes to answer my question. So Matt, I've got a good one for you today. Are you ready?
Yep.
Give me a checklist of a list of questions that you would ask yourself if you were an owner of a veterinary practice thinking about selling.
Okay. Well, I'm going to kind of go in order of what I think is most important a little bit, or at least start off with what's most important. And I think most importantly, you want to make sure that you're emotionally ready. Most people, if they build a business, they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their business, a lot of sweat equity. And it's one of the only things you've known for a very long period of time. Comes with a lot of sacrifice. And I think the emotional step is bigger than most people think. Even if you think you're ready to do it emotionally, when you get into it and you start going through the process, there's a lot of emotions that you almost can't plan for that come out. And you want to make sure that you're there because you'll know when you're ready, you'll feel like I'm definitely ready. I think part of that too is you want to make sure if you have business partners or if you have family, friends, etc., that they're also there to be supportive of you as you go through the process because the whole process can take at least 120 days and it's a busy process. There's a lot of things that happen, a lot of moving parts. So I would say being emotionally ready is the first question you should ask yourself. Are you emotionally ready? Um, I think the second question, just as equally important, is are you financially ready?
Hmm.
What I mean by that is, first of all, have you had a valuation done? So you know what your practice is worth if you go to market. Super important. Um, More important is, do you have a financial advisor or have you, which we would definitely recommend, but have you put together a plan? Most people, when you sell your business, it's a big step towards retirement. It's not to say that you have to stop working that day. Chances are you're going to end up working another 2, 3 years at least anyway, or
Sure.
five, etc. But you want to make sure that you're in a financial position or your financial positioning after you sell your business is one that you're setting yourself up for your plan for retirement. And
And I
financial
think
advisors can help a ton with that.
and I think part of that, if you can do it, and not everybody can do it, but also part of that is understanding how much you're going to need post sale to make sure that your practice can bear that in the market.
Yep, exactly. And along with that is you want to have a good tax CPA so you understand if I get this much money for my practice, I'm going to pay this much in taxes. This is how much I'm going to invest in whatever you're going to invest in or wherever it's going to go. And then this is how much you need in retirement. And as long as that line graph or whatever is positive at the end of life, then you're okay. But you need a financial advisor to help you work through those numbers. I guess another question is, are you operationally ready? And what I mean by that is your business in a position where it is sale ready? Sometimes people say the rule of thumb is you need 2, 3 years to prepare. I don't know if that's 100% true all the time, but you want to make sure that your business is running as optimal as possible before you go to market to sell your business. You want to make sure that your revenue is in an upward trend. If your revenue is flat or declining, that's not a great time to sell because you're going to lose some value on that. You also want to make sure that your EBITDA is in a place where you want it to be, or your profitability, your cash flow. Um, and you want to make sure that you have clean accounting. You want to make sure that you have really good accounting. You don't want to do, I'm going to call it cash accounting, but you don't want to do accounting where you have a lot of volatility in your P&L and a lot of one-off things. You want to kind of smooth and neaten all that out as much as you can for at least 12, if not 24 months. That way you have a really good track record to show a buyer of this is my performance this year versus my performance a year ago, and
Right.
look at the upward trend or the upward mobility. These are the things that you want to showcase as you're selling something. You don't want to sell a business when it's in decline. And one of the things that buyers are looking at right now is what is your number of visits, for example, month over month, year over year comparison. Well, if you're in a declining trend on number of customers coming in the door, you want to work on that and have that dialed in so that it doesn't look declining. It actually looks like it's accelerating. You want your operational numbers, your hospital manager to be dialed in. I mean, there's so many moving parts of the operations of a practice. You want to have all your ducks in a row and be very well prepared. That is, even though I did it last, that's very, very important if you're going to go to market and achieve top valuation.
If I can add a few things, I would also say, strategically, when you're looking at selling your practice, have you looked at the market? Is the market in a good place when you're looking to sell versus, kind of like in a downturn? That's another thing that I would look at. The other thing that I would definitely consider is what are your ancillary goals in terms of going into a sale? So I think, most people that we worked with, the financial component is obviously really important. You want to get the most bang for your buck. Most veterinary owners, they're only going to do this maybe one time in their lives. So it really
Right.
is important to get the most bang for your buck. But what else is important to you? Is your legacy important to you? Is it important that the practice keeps its name? Is it important that your standard of care doesn't change? Is it important to find a buyer that fits the culture that you've built over the course of time? So these are some other questions that I would be asking myself in terms of like, what kind of buyer do I want? Is the market ready for me? Even if I am ready, and with all the other things that you described, I could still be ready, but maybe I go to market and find out, the market's not great right now. I need to wait. Um,
Do you want a full purchase or a joint venture, or maybe you're interested in neither one?
And
Um,
and can you talk about that just a half second? What does that mean when you're thinking about that? Because that's a
well,
good
I
one.
mean, a full purchase is you have no control. They own 100% of your business. You're fully bought out, and in a joint venture, you're, for lack of better words, getting married and owning the business together. You're going to not have the controlling interest because you'll only own up to approximately 45% or less, and the buyer is going to own majority. But both situations have pros and cons, and so it just depends on, to expand more on that, it's a whole nother topic, a whole nother video. But in the grand schemes, that's the basics of it.
So just to recap, when you're looking to sell your practice, there are a number of things that you need to take into consideration. Some are emotional and personal to you. Some are going to be financial. Some are going to be operational, and some are going to be strategic.
Mhm.
And it really is important to take into account all of these different things before making the decision to go to market. Now, are you going to be in a situation where you can check off every single one of these boxes? Who knows? Probably not. But I think if you have the majority of these things figured out, then you're probably putting yourself in a good position to go to market.
Yep, agreed. I would also encourage anyone, when once you know you're emotionally ready and you're starting to really think about it, write down your goals of the exit. As I sell my company, these are my goals. You probably aren't going to get all of them, but it's good to write them down so you don't allow them to adapt, and that you stick to your guns on what your goals were, because at the end of the process, you're going to be faced with an offer or offers, and you want to see which ones check off the most boxes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
And last thing I'll add is, if you get to the point where you are thinking you're at least emotionally ready and you want to start looking at everything else, the operational components, the financial components, the strategic components, that's where we can come in. That's where we can be of help to you. We will do an assessment up front. We'll do an introductory meeting with you up front. And we'll take a look at everything for you. We'll take a look at your finances. We'll take a look at your metrics. We'll take a look at, your operations as they stand in the moment. And we'll give you our advice on what we think would happen for you if you were to go to market very specifically, very specific to your practice.
yeah,
Okay. Well, Matt, thanks so much. I know we went a little bit over, but that was a really good topic, and I appreciate you touching on everything. And then until next time,
sounds good. Thanks, Kia.
thank you.